Billy Odell family, Senator Billy Odell. They buried him yesterday, but asked for prayers for their family. And I'd like to say thanks for all the concerns I received this past month when my baby brother passed away. And we always start our meeting with invocation. Tonight, Mr. Daniel got it, and then we'll have our pledge of allegiance, so we'll all stand.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for life, health and strength. We thank you for bringing us through another holiday season and into a new year. 2015 was filled with a lot of ups and downs and turmoils around the state and in the county, but we pray that 2016 is much better, and you just guide us, our hearts and our minds, so we use our powers to better Lawrence County as a whole. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We started something new tonight, and I'll give everybody another chance. If you're going to speak during the public comment time, you have to sign up. And we got a sheet, kind of like guidelines. I don't know whether anybody signed up tonight or not. But that's something we're going to start tonight. But the first thing tonight is going to be the approval of our agenda for the January 12th, 2016 meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any additions to the agenda tonight? If not, we'll vote by the show of the right hand. All in favor? 7-0. Next thing is approval of minutes for our December 8th, 2015 meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody have any problem with the minutes? If none, we'll vote by the show of our right hand. All in favor? 7-0. First thing tonight, public hearing, ordinance 804. I'm gonna let Mr. Cruikshanks have that, and then we'll open the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the public hearing and final reading for what was previously known as Project Container. This is DMW Fine Pack. This is an expansion of $20 million and 60 new jobs. We urge final approval by council for tonight, following the public hearing and third reading motion.
Okay, public hearing for ordinance 804 is now open. If you want to speak, come forward, state your name. No one here to speak against ordinance 804. Close the public hearing, and I'll ask for third reading of ordinance 804. Motion.
Move to approve the third reading motion of ordinance 804, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any discussion?
Yes, sir. Mr. Cruikshanks, on page 3, section B, paragraph number 2, is typical 35 years our fee in lieu agreements
The new ones are, yes.
as opposed to, what were the old ones?
Started out 20.
That's what I thought.
These have been extended where you have extensions of investments so that the company can take full advantage of the tax credit.
So
This one would go 30 years, and not be 35.
Is that a change in law or just something that we as a county are doing? Change in law? I have some reservations about that. Just as an FYI. No further comments, Mr. Chairman.
The reason for the extension, Dr. Pitts, is, in a lot of senses, is the company's going to invest $20 million in something they certainly want to have ample opportunity to get a return on their investment also.
So are all of our fee and lieu at this
No.
point, would it reflect 35 years from
No.
the new ones forward?
Just going forward.
And I'm,
Unless
the
y'all
flip
agree.
side, the flip side of that is, it's the cost of doing business. I
That's correct.
understand that. And we can't do 20 years and the next county over do 35, so,
Or we won't get.
or we won't get any business.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Well said.
Are there any other discussion? We'll vote for third reading, ordinance 804, all in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Next thing on our agenda tonight is set free to be ministers incorporated, Pastor Wayne Jones and Joe Gresham. You come forward.
Hey, everyone, council. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My name is Pastor Wayne Jones, and of course, this is Joe Gresham. He's one of our board members, set free to be ministry. And what we're going to do here is ask the council to consider a piece of land, 2.88 acres, over off of Templeton Road. And what we do, what we at Set Free to Be Ministry do, is that we are a non-denominational ministry, and we're here to assist in bringing God's healing and wholeness and freedom to the hurting and wounded in our community. Our mission is to assist individuals and families and our community as a whole with the issues at hand. And most of us know what all the issues are in Lawrence. And what I want to say, there's a lot of good things that have been going on in Lawrence and happening in Lawrence. In an effort to take back our community, we use a proven strategy that assists individuals learning to face life struggles so they can move forward in the freedom and wholeness that is in Christ. And the three areas that we kind of center in on is substance abuse, behaviors such as gambling, anger, depression, relationship issues such as enabling codependency and abusive relationships. And we all know about the domestic violence and how South Carolina is number 2 within the 50 states. We started to work here. We have Set Free to Be, but we have the Life Community. We have a community center here in Lawrence, right down here on West Lawrence, 239 West Lawrence. We also have the Lawrence County Detention Jail Ministry. We've been there for a little over a year. We also have the Reality Check Ministries, which is geared towards our youth 12 to 17 years old. And one of the things we have recently started, thanks to the church, is we have now a reentry component with a borrowed home lease. The work that we're doing in the jail in the past year, we had 82 men and 46 women complete the group settings that we have at the Lawrence County Detention Center. So that's a total of 128 certificates that have been given out with the curriculum that we use there. Only 6 have returned to the jail in the past year, and of course, some did go on to SEDC, and then some are still, at the jail. But we had a lot of people show up, and there was really some good groups, and it's a good start. And just to give you an example of some of the good that's come out of that, is we had one man, for example, that's in our group for three to 4 months. And then he was sentenced and released to get out, and he came to us to look for further assistance. So we had a church that was kindly offered their home as a reentry component. So we plugged him in, he's plugged into probation, and the next step for him was both rehab get him a job. He got his license after 10 years. Had his license drawn, and he's been on the road to recovery ever since. He's been with us since May. And he came with us, first met him in jail last year. I would like to invite Major Tyson, if you will, to come up. He can speak a little bit about what we are doing in the jail, how it's working there.
Chairman Wood, members of the council, 2 years ago, we promised every member of this council that we would strive to improve our detention center for people of Orange County. I would like to give you just the following stats that we've been able to accomplish during the last year. 2014, our high count detention center was 311 inmates. 2015, our high count was only 260. 2014, our high daily average was 287 inmates. 2015, our high daily average was only 245 inmates. During this time of the year of 2015, it's the first time in 3 years that we have reduced our count under 200 inmates incarcerated in our detention center. During the last 2 weeks of December, we had our lowest count, 185 inmates incarcerated. That's unbelievable. We have also reduced our disciplinary infractions by 70% within the detention center. We have reduced use of force by almost 50% within the detention center. We have also reduced inmate-on-inmate assaults by almost 50% within the detention center. And we feel sure that this ministry has played an important part in accomplishing it, along with the other programs that we have been able to install. We brought this ministry into the detention center under the direction of Sheriff Chasteen because of the following elements that it uses in place, which affects our inmates on a daily basis: anger management, conflict resolution, domestic violence, family living, individual responsibility for one's actions and decisions made in life, as well as addiction counseling and enabling of our loved ones. We all know the greatest asset any county will have will always be its people. We also know any future that any county will have will come from its huge ability to grow and expand that county. We know for a fact 85% of everybody incarcerated within our detention center or SCDC is going to return to our communities to live. I think Pastor Jones will give you a stat of like 138 inmates from SCDC were released back in Lawrence County during the year 2015. They're coming back here to live. And if they continue to use the detention center or SCDC as a revolving door, as Mr. Seegers and I have talked about several times along with the sheriff, we are involving an enormous expense in these people's health care, psychological issues which they've developed over years of coming in and out of this jail. We're now having a cost pool of $25,000 that lapsed every year. We've never had that before. For people with serious terminal illness that we have to provide medication for. This ministry is a plus for that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. What I want to say is that's some of what we do. And I was invited to do the past volunteer chaplain work there at the Lawrence County Detention Center, and we're still there today. And we have Bill Gresham, my wife, Teresa, and Stephen Wakeman, who help us do the groups within the jail for the men and women. Now, some of the statistics or issues or problems that we're having in this part of Lawrence is recidivism. They get out of jails, and where do they go? Right back to the same insanity or the same cycle. So we want to introduce a possible solution. We have recidivism, we have addiction, we have domestic violence, we have suicide, robberies. When people are released from the different institutions, some of them are 28-day rehab programs. Some of them are longer than 18 months. Or they're released from SCDC. Wherever they're released from, they're coming back to our communities. That's part of the problem that we're having. They're coming back to the same thing. Same environment, same drug problems, same family problems, generation after generation. And we hope that this particular part of the reentry that we want to introduce in the transitional housing can break that cycle. SEDC, some of the statistics, approximately 10,000 in 2015 were released back into the South Carolina communities, and 138 were released in Lawrence in 2015. Approximately 4,000 were released in 2015 to the South Carolina communities, had no agency to report to, meaning they completed their sentences and they had no probation or parole, they maxed out. So therefore, they didn't have to go and report to anybody necessarily. A lot of times they just go right back to the street homeless, or back to the same environment that they come out of. The highest age population admitted to the jail is 20 to 40 years old in SEDC. The higher range is 20 to 35, and then it goes from there. 2010 and 2014 in Lawrence has had 53 deaths related to DUI. 313 bodily injuries, 200 property damages, and that was just from the South Carolina Department of Safety. Suicide was number 8 in 2013 in Lawrence as one of the top leading 10 causes of death in Lawrence. There's 47 cases of hepatitis C in 2014 reported in Lawrence. IV drug use is a big spreader of Hep C. Sorry to give you all the other stuff, but that's kind of some of the stuff we're looking at. Lawrence Detention Center has more than doubled its female population. A lot of it has to do with the meth epidemic that we have. Even the women has doubled, it's not doubled, but increased even in SEDC. It's increasing in our jails. Pregnancies. In Lawrence Detention Center, we had 8 pregnant ladies incarcerated for various reasons last year. And some of it was drug addiction. 2013 and 14, the state reports that South Carolina is number 2 in the nation for women being murdered. And Lawrence is kind of high in domestic violence, so we have a lot of generational things here. And we believe what we're bringing to the table will be part of the solution. And part of that solution is going to be, if you will agree with the 2.88 acres of land, we at Set Free B want to ask the Lawrence Council for that wooded lot off of Templeton Road over by the Lawrence County Detention Center. This lot will be used for reentry, transitional facility to help reduce recidivism, drug and alcohol use, domestic violence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is evident to all who are living in Lawrence. It helps them to connect them back to the community in a healthy way. We've got to have something for those who are returning back to our community to connect to the community with many resources they have in Lawrence. We plan to build a 30-bed facility with a kitchen, classrooms, chapel that would accommodate the residents and family members of those in transition. That's what we want to see happen with that particular part of the property. Now, groups and programs include, but not limited to, the 5 components of recovery, delivering free awareness, prevention training, overcoming setbacks, the 12-step study, conflict resolution. We have a lot of issues with enabling codependency, and I have found it to be bigger problems in some cases than the actual drug addiction. Domestic violence, we have groups and classes on that. Work ethics, they learn to be a person that others can count on. Learning to let go, forgive, and move forward. They learn to honor and establish authority, recognize authority. But also community service, where they learn to give back. And that's some of what will take place in this transitional house, in the housing. Now, in addition to the strategic location, which makes us very key, and the reason we're asking for it, is because some of the things that they need is within a mile radius of this particular piece of property. Because that property sits right in the middle of everything they need. We have a transportation problem in the county of Lawrence, getting people from Waterloo all the way over to Gateway. We see we have a lot of problems with that. This particular piece of property, everything is there within a mile radius. So we would make the people who are in this transitional housing will be able to connect to vocational rehabilitation, adult ed, Social Security Office, Lawrence DSS, the L4 Unit Hospital, Health Department, Shepherd's Gate, Gateway Services. Everything is right there. Practically right out the back door. They can walk there. We believe this will bring a part of the solution to some of the problem areas or problems within Lawrence County. And the goal of that is reconnect them back to society in such a way that they can now get jobs and begin to stand out on their own. And what we want to ask is the timeline. We're projecting this plan to be up and running within a 3-year time frame. If it's not up and running as planned, the county council will consider retaining property back to the county in that 3 years. This ministry is growing, and we are in planning stages with other leaders to accomplish these goals for the benefit of Lawrence County. That's what we're going to do for Lawrence County.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
this is sound like a very important thing to do, but what concerns me is where the financing is gonna come from to build this facility, and how it's gonna be paid for, and basically what I see here, you got a director, and night manager, and secretary, all that'll be salaries, and all that'll be recurring. I'm just interested in knowing how it would be financed.
Well, under the nonprofit, they do work a little bit different, Mr. Woods. What we would do is we have grant writing, which we're in the process of getting done now. There's a lot of grants that are available to the rural communities for the type of work that we're beginning to initiate in our counties. And the grants are becoming available because this work is lacking in the rural community. You see a lot of what we're doing in the cities, Greenville, Columbia, some of the bigger places, but they're not in the rural areas, and that's what's needed in the rural areas, is this type of ministry. It's a community ministry, it's a community outreach. We already have up to 10 to 15 volunteers now. People who are dedicated to doing this, and it doesn't come with, like you said, salary. We have a lot of volunteers.
What I'd like to do with this is, really take it as information right now, and this piece of property is not going anywhere.
Right.
And as y'all get further along and maybe get some of your grants going, and then, I mean, it's not like we're gonna sell a piece of property out from under you. The piece of property will be there. Y'all come up with what you got to come up with here, and we'll furnish a place to build it. I'm satisfied this council will agree to it.
What we talking about, Joe, Mr. Chairman, is that people visionaries. We've got people that are willing to donate, but we've also got grants. If we come up and say we've got this 30-bed unit, we've got an architect, we've got agreements on these plans, and people say, well, that's great, where are you gonna put it? That's why we put a time frame in here that if nothing's been accomplished on this in 3 years, then the ministry is certainly willing to deed this back to the county can see things necessary at the time. So it's almost like giving us an option on the property, except you deed the property unless we've gone forward with this in a 3-year time frame. It comes back to the county anyway. But again, I think people visionaries, and some of the people that I've gone to in Greenville, they've got the money to throw at this stuff. I've got a couple of them that can build it. Literally say, this is great, but where's it gonna be? And I mean, this ministry is in its infancy, but this thing has grown beyond my wildest dreams of this last year.
Well, I won't take it as information right now, and I'll figure out what committee to put it to, and I'll put it to a committee and let the committee review it and go over it and see what we can come up with. And I'd say, go for it. So if anybody wants to know where it's gonna be built, would that be the word to say, Aaron?
I think so, Joe. You all got to have title of the property to be able to receive your grant writing, or do you know?
It's gonna help. I mean, it's gonna help. I mean, it's almost like saying, yeah, we're gonna put the property in your name, but unless you get something going on the property for years, we can set up a call for it, come back and have to get it back. And that would be in form of deed restriction, correct?
Could be, yeah.
Or separate agreement, how it would be, but
I wanna, I still wanna accept the information, but, are y'all through with your presentation?
Yes, sir, Mr.
I'm gonna, go down the line with council and just let council discuss it, just to hear what the intention of each council member, what they would say about it.
yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I call on Mr. Dawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I appreciate the presentation, and I have a couple of things, and I'll be brief, Mr. Chairman. First is the ministry at the detention center is in place now. Does have proven success. I agree with that. I've spoken with several deputies, both at the detention center in the past year, and several road deputies that are in and out of there a lot. And specifically asked them about the ministries out there. And all of them agree that you've got good attendance, and it's making a difference. So I commend you for that in every way. It certainly is making a great deal. As I looked at the information provided, there's 5 segments outlined. And I think that those absolutely could provide good positive direction and education as shown. And my first thought was completion of that program alone could give a person, some self-confidence, some positive self-confidence as they start out on basically a new road or almost a clean slate. So I'm all for the ministry. Now we look at the other end of it, and Joe hit on one of those questions as a finance. I didn't see enough in there that provided me an understanding of the finance for the future of the plan. So you guys certainly added some of that information. That was a question that I had. And then, but I am concerned, one thing I am concerned about is we open the door, set of precedents to other nonprofit organizations that need financial help. We have a lot of nonprofits in our county that need financial help. We've cut back some of those nonprofits that need financial help. And I just don't want to reopen some of that door to that. So I would need a little more information. I appreciate your first thought.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Pastor Jones and Mr. Gresham for the work they're doing, and Mr. Tyson also. I think that this is a really proactive opportunity, help getting people out of that revolving door of prison and become productive members of society. Less people we have in prison, we're also spending a lot of tax dollars on those needs of the people in prison right now. So this is a great intervention. It's a good plan, and if we work out the logistics, I would be all in favor of it.
Well, I just wondered what kind of licensing you would have to even start. What would you be running under? Where your finances coming from? Is this a legal thing for the county to give land for something like that? I've got a lot of questions that I don't understand. Where is one of these operations already in motion? That kind of thing. That committee could take it.
Okay. Ms. Adams?
I do have some concerns regarding this initiative. I heard you read all the data, but nationwide, incarceration has gone down everywhere, not only in South Carolina, but nationwide. So the data probably could be, miscrewed one way or the other. But I do also have an issue with the living area out in a service area, residential area. Right now, those people out there with people in clinic and a whole lot of other things are out that way that I think might not be conducive for that kind of center in that particular area. And I also have a problem with the monies. And the governor have already introduced an initiative for domestic abuse. And I think in any kind of field, you don't need to be bumping heads. We need to be working together so we don't have to be misusing money and appropriating money where we don't need to appropriate it. So there's a lot of concerns, but that's just a couple of them that's off the cuff. But, I think we just need to see the whole picture. I understand the vision, but you have to have some steps toward the vision, have to be clearer.
Mr. McDaniel?
I want to thank you, Pastor Jones, for your presentation. And I talked with Major Tyson last year about this ministry specifically. And the numbers do kind of tell the story. It is very successful, and it's a great step into activating the incarcerated to coming back into the real world and adjusting. Like everybody else said, pretty much, my only concern is setting a precedence of donating such a large property or being a large investment in a nonprofit in the county. And also, I'd like to see some more financial numbers on it, because the grants aren't always reoccurring. So I'd like to see something stably financial so that you all can function in the future. That's it.
Mr. Fields?
You know, where there's no vision, people will perish. So I certainly appreciate what you've done as far as laying the groundwork for the vision. I also think it's an excellent opportunity to provide some interventions to stop the cycle. And that is the ultimate goal, I think, is what you're saying. Maybe I misunderstood, but I don't think I heard Pastor Jones or Mr. Gresham or Mr. Tyson request any funds from the county for the operations of this center. Is that correct? It would all be donations and fundraising and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All they are asking for, I believe, is the land.
Just for the council's information, so far, this ministry has worked almost solely on private donations by people who care about our county.
So there's no plan to come to ask a line item in a budget from this council. I'm in 100% for it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Well, I've heard pros and cons, and certainly we talked about a lot of money if we're gonna build a 30-bed facility, classroom, chapel, and all that. I would like to hear a little bit more information, a little bit about the grant writing and so forth. And then I'll put it to a committee and we'll try to come up with a recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, just one point of clarification. There have been donations out there for a number of years. Good Shepherd Medical Clinic was a donation to the county where the old alcohol and drug abuse center, change the name of it, that's a donation as well. So we donated to the mental health people, we donated to the senior option group. So that's, you know, as far as that precedent goes, I'm not sure that this is set for. But again, I understand the questions they have. But there have been donations in the past, in the last 25 years, we've done these things. So that's just one clarification. Be glad to work with Mr. Gresham and Pastor Jones on more information that's come to them. I don't think that side of the park is going to develop because the detention center sits right in the middle of it. And if it was on the other side, on Piedmont Tech side, might be a question about it because there's property over there that, you know, I think this county would be wise to sell. We've got some land out there that's been sitting there for a number of years because, you know, we have tried to park. I think the location they're talking about, you know, I don't think it's upset. Location of the park, that's all. Just off that one.
I feel like that, if you come up with the money to build this facility, I can't speak for future councils, but speaking for this council here, if you come up with the money, we'll find a place to put it. And said, this piece of property that you want in here, I don't see where it's going anywhere right now. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all come with some financing or how your grants is gonna be, and then we'll proceed from there. Thank you very much. Next thing on our agenda is our second reading of ordinance 805. Mr. Cruikshank.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is the continuation, transfer of 3 agreements, penalty tax agreements, simply a name change of the company. We have dealt with Imatech in the past. They've been a great investment in this county. This is simply changing, bringing in a new company. Swift, it doesn't change any, it's not a new fee agreement, not any new investments. It's just accepting the transfer of these agreements to the new company, which is Continental. Council passed this on first reading, in its last meeting. We would certainly encourage second reading approval of ordinance 805.
Do I have a motion for second reading of ordinance 805?
Chairman, I move second reading ordinance 805.
Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Or any discussion? None, we'll vote by show of our right hand, all in favor? 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next, is second reading ordinance 806. Mr. Cruikshank.
Yes, this is the, and I think you have the details in your report. This is the property that would be transferred to the county for purposes of the annexation from the city of Clinton and been developed by the Clinton Development Corporation for a speculative dwelling for the area. Council approved this on first reading, this last meeting. We would certainly encourage second reading to approve on ordinance 806.
What sort of schedule corner on that? Have they passed anything yet?
Theirs will start February. So they'll dovetail like they do. They have 2 meetings. Our final reading and public hearing will be scheduled for first meeting in February.
We have a motion, second reading ordinance 806.
Mr. Chairman, I move for second reading approval of ordinance 806.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? One thing I saw in the paper about this particular item was this was requested by the county. This was really requested by the city of Clinton.
Yeah, I think what the amendment said was the county would be requesting the city to de-annex the property for the purposes of development.
But the idea was brought up
That's
to the
correct.
city, it was
That's
brought
correct.
up to the
That's correct.
county.
That's correct.
All in favor of second reading ordinance 806, raise your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next is second reading ordinance 807. Mr. Cruikshank.
This, Mr. Rush probably could answer this one a little better than I can. This is for the relocation of a collecting facility.
Okay, Mr. Rob Rush.
This, at first reading, we spoke about this, about 28 years ago, Vulcan Materials donated a piece of property on the Webb Road for a rural collection site. We developed that site, and that site's been in operation since then. Vulcan is now in the expansion or future, trying to unlock future reserves, would like that property back. In exchange for that property, they're offering another piece of property on the frontage road, Quarry Road, and will construct, fully construct a new collection facility at that site for us, where all we'll have to do is essentially move our equipment over to the new site. Obviously, the presence of Vulcan in the area is a great economic asset for this area. And like I said, we've been great business partners for them for a long time. And I would ask for approval on second reading to swap of the 2 properties.
Do we have a motion, second reading ordinance 807?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I wrote out there, and I think this was positive move. I mean, it helps us clean up an area and help that business who donated the land in. So absolutely nothing but a positive.
Any other discussion? None, we ask for a vote by show of our right hand, all in favor? 7-0. Next, first reading ordinance 808. Mr. Cruikshank.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this DFW fine tax, which you just need final approval to, some of the property with that company was included previously in Multnomah County Park, some of it was not. This is kind of a cleanup ordinance to get all of the properties that DFW fine tax has in their fee in lieu into the boundaries of the Multnomah County Park. They chose to place this property in the Octagon Industrial Park agreement. If you recall, park agreements are somewhat hypothetical in the sense of boundaries, as long as they're within the county. The park, by definition, doesn't have to say it's a North Broad Street or something like that. As long as the property is in this hypothetical park, then they are entitled to the benefits. This is simply a cleanup of all of the properties, as we were going through this with the company, make sure all of their properties are included in that park. We would encourage, first reading, it has no financial bearing with regard to the county. It's not costing the county.
I have a motion, first reading ordinance 808.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Do we have any further discussion? Not, we'll vote by the show of our right hand, all in favor? 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next thing is ordinance 809. Do we have anyone from the city of Lawrence here to discuss this?
Right here, I can go over to where it came from. This proposal action came as a result of discussions, I think, between Mr. Russian, started with Mr. Russian and one of the staff of the city of Lawrence. And I think Mr. Cruikshank talked to the city attorney about it, and I talked to Mayor Stankus and to the Coleman city administrator. What this involves is down at the emergency services building, Old County Library on South Harper Street. Lawrence County actually only owns the profile of that building, just where it sits. The city of Lawrence owns the parking lot behind it, down Contour Creek where the dispatchers park, and the piece of property across Hant Street, I believe it's Hant Street, where the big parking lot is going down South Harper. We've been in that library, been there since the 40s, I think, and it's always been a good relationship on that. The county owns a lot down south on down Lawrence Street, right on the corner of Carolina Avenue, across from Bridgetown to Thompson Law Office. That property was bought back in the mid to late 80s, I think, when everything was in this building. All county employees were in this building as opposed to we since moved all that, most of that to Hillcrest Square. What the proposal would be, even swap, I guess, for that, the city of Lawrence would take that property down there, light it, and use it for their uptown facility, and for their uptown parking. And the county would take the property in and around the old library building, emergency services building, for maintenance and safety and that kind of thing. Just seemed to make sense that, the county facilities in that location on South Harper Street. The city has some interest in lighting and maintaining the library here, kind of block down the street here. And I think this makes some sense to put facility with facility and locality with locality, and try to do that. Sandy, that kind of conversation we had.
That's kind of where we were, and I agree with Mr. Sears, it makes sense. And Mr. Rushing and I talked about it before the meeting tonight, and it's kind of a no-brainer that gets all of the parking that the county uses for those facilities now in the county name. It still remains a public parking facility, so guests or visitors to those locations could use them.
And we could certainly make arrangements, I mean, in agreement with the city, we could certainly have, you know, that property, that block be labeled for county employees that want to use part of this. There aren't that many that work in this building anymore, probably, with the registration board, VA office, and that's about it as far as, you know, people actually work in the building. So, it just makes sense from a legal standpoint, you know, from a functional standpoint, to propose this. I talked to Mr. Coleman last week, and I thought they may be here tonight, and it would take some 3 readings to do it, swap it. So there'd be time to discuss it later on if it's something that the council has to do.
So if the city so chose and received the right offer, they could, sell that lot across from the library we use now. Yeah, I think we better buy that. I think they make that switch.
Do we have a motion to do this first reading ordinance 809?
Mr. Chairman, I move to, accept on first reading ordinance 809.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Now we'll discuss it.
I apologize.
Anybody else want to say anything about it? The only thing that bothers me is, the city of Lawrence wouldn't restrict it as far as parking, would they?
No. You mean as far as county parking?
Yeah.
They use it now for, when they have the big festival in the fall, they use it for car shows and carnivals and that kind of thing. We've all, county's always agreed to, you know, clear the lot of that sort of thing. At one time, the lot was lit, had lights in it. For some reason, those lights, you know, we don't have those anymore. They think they're just trying to get it as a facility, you know, enhance downtown a little bit. And, you know, if they ever decide, you know, with that, we got, on the old library building, we've got 911, fire service, EMS director down there. If they, you know, if they ever decided they want to, you know, take those lots away from them, that's not the right word. If they ever decided they want to sell those lots, they could. So, you know, just from a functional standpoint, it just makes sense to get it back where it ought to be.
Sound like an even swap to me, so.
Yes, there wouldn't be any money involved, and we can certainly get the attorneys and just make sure that the parking will be available to the public, you know, and it's, you know, it's the life of a lot of them.
Well, all in favor of first reading ordinance 809, we'll vote by the show of our right hand. All in favor? 7-2.
And we'll get the city representative next time we do this question. Say, they have to pass orders too, but.
Yes, I think their plans are to start whatever their next meeting is that first reading of that ordinance at their next meeting.
Thank you.
Next thing is Lawrence County Fire Service, Mr. Greg Lindley.
I have a request again, as we've done a couple of these in previous years. The Durban Creek Volunteer Fire Department has received a 2014 Assistant Firefighter Grant, $41,000 for new education equipment. They have received that equipment. That equipment is on the truck, have been trained with it. They did pay the match with their own money, and they're asking for that reimbursement as we've done with others. That is a $1,952 match. That's one that can be paid from the Fire General Contingency Fund. That was budgeted $24,745.19, and we still have $21,194.67. So the request is just to reimburse them for the match.
Thank you, Greg. Do we have a motion to allow Greg to do this?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
And we always just pay them back. That's the way they're, match funds. I know nobody will pay us back, we match. That's why I was asking.
He pays it out of contingency fund. All right, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Next is administrator report, Mr. Ernest Akers.
Chairman, I've got about 3 meetings I need to notify you all. I think you're going to go over some of these. The Lawrence County NAACP banquet will be Saturday night at 6 p.m. at Laurel Hill Baptist Church. That's down on 221, going to Greenwood on the right. Some have already responded to that. We have a table there for 8 people, so if you want, I think, Betty, you got tickets, Betty, I think, once you have them. So if you want, interested, go and get to the walk. The Chamber of Commerce banquet, Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce banquet will be on January 28th of this year at the PC down at the Yonts. What is it? Maybe Yonts, big conference room, by the way I would have it. There's a 6 o'clock reception at another, what was that stuff, Sam? That's the Arts Center. Yeah, the Arts Center by the Duck Pond, and then the dinner will be at 7 o'clock at the Mabry Yonts, which is right across the way from there. So we've got a table for 8. If you want to go, I think just let me with the walk know, we'll be glad to accommodate that. We've also, there's a new executive director of the Renewable Water Resources, REWA, the old West Carolina Sewer Authority, named Graham Rich, and there's a drop-in his, so that's also on 28, I think it's 4 to 7 at their office over at 561 Baldwin Road in Lincoln. So I think Ray Orton's been up there for a number of years, been there a long time, and they started, I think, retired fairly recently, and they've really, under Mr. Orton's leadership, they really helped Lawrence County with sewer work up in the Owen area, that kind of thing. So if you want to go to that, just let us know, we'll let RSVP do it. That's all I've got to go.
One other thing while we're at the administrative report, we got to figure out what we're gonna do with Church Street offices when we move in the new building. And I'd like to ask the county administrator if he would to send out something to each department head for their concerns about what they want to do with this building. If anybody is wanting to go in that building or anything, and then we get all the concerns, and then we'll put it in the committee and decide what we want to do with it. Does that sound okay? So we can just notify all the departments and give them till maybe a month and a half, you know, whatever you want to come up with. And have them report all these reports back to Mr. Rob Rush, Public Works.
We'll try to get it in writing too, so we'll have a record of what
Yeah.
exactly going on.
The request, make them, let them do it in writing.
The building, while we talk the building, Rob, you Scott and Dave, you were out there, one thing. Have you heard anything?
We're still targeting the end of this month, first week of next month for moving into the new building. There's a lot of training that needs to be done on some of the systems over there. There's a lot of loose ends to tie up. We're kind of getting down to that last little bits. And there's some things that, you know, may still hold us up from that schedule, but they gave us a date of the 22nd to assign the building over to us, do final paperwork on it. I'm a little worried that they're not going to meet that date, but it's going to be the next few weeks.
They've got a wish list that they're working on, so it's coming. It's probably 95% of the interior is done. I mean, some
It's probably further along.
It's basically coming along. So, but I will follow up on that.
Have we gotten the elevator inspections, the occupancy permits is all already in place, so we won't get those until after the punch list.
So after the punch list is ready, they'll sign up and finalize.
But that's all we got.
Next thing is our 15-minute period for public comment. Looks like we had somebody just sign up. Could you check, Mr. Cruikshank?
Yes.
We like to do this before the meeting, but since we're not going to restrict anybody right now, you know,
Ms. Cook has signed in asking for help for her family. I don't know that would be an appropriate topic for the county council to deal with. There's certainly not. Maybe we could talk with Ms. Cook after the meeting, director of appropriate agencies.
Okay, I will open the floor up to you in a couple minutes.
Well, my name is Valerie Cook. My family and I have fallen on hard times, and we desire assistance with necessities, shelter, food, utilities, furniture, a job, vehicle. My family has been a help to this community for many years, and we have fallen victim to scam artists and thieves. Many times, we are forced to trust the untrustworthy. But in God, we must also trust. I have been denied income, retirement benefits, welfare benefits, compensation for injuries, housing. My family has been laid waste and open to attack by those involved in the capture of our prosperity. Our freedoms were taken for a personal gain, not for criminal intent on our part. We desire assistance to restore our household. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. I'll close the comment period time, and I'll ask for comments from council members. We'll start with Mr. Pitts tonight.
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. McDaniel.
No, tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Anderson. Mr. Knight.
Don't have anything, I'm just thankful for the new year and Christmas. Hope everybody had a great time.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, just want to wish everybody a great 2016 and look forward to working with everybody.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Only comment I got after reading the minutes from the last meeting, I'd like to, I know we got to set up a meeting about this EMS for the motion that was passed at the last meeting. I'd like to see that motion kind of clarified some kind of way, if we have to listen to the tape of it or whatever. You know, I know it was amended, but I can't really make sense out of the motion by reading the minutes. But, I know what was proposed and then it was amended, but sometime before the next meeting, before we have the committee look at this motion, we need to let Mr. Cruikshanks look at it. He was here and verify exactly what it said. That's all I got, and, we got a executive session, one employment matter and one legal briefing. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session for an employment matter and a legal briefing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Raise your right hand. 11-0. We'll take a 5-minute recess. All right, we're back in open session. We had an employment matter, we had no action taken. We had a legal briefing, no action was taken. Do we have anything else to come before council? If not, we stand adjourned.